This is the lightest plastic-built mouse I've ever used, and it's not only the weight of this mouse that makes it a very strong contender in the competitive mouse space, but it also has specs that I think is overkill, yet reaches the standard for competitive mice. You're looking at the Kysona Mercury Ultra. Not only does this have 8000 Hz polling rate, but it does it even over wireless. This has an adjustable lift-off distance heights from 0.7 mils to 2 mils that's adjustable via its software. So basically, this can be tailor-fitted to whatever playstyle the user has. This has a Pixar 3950 sensor, which is one of the top sensors in the market, if not already the best sensor as of now. This boasts a max DPI of 30,000, then you also get 750 inches per second tracking speed and a 50-gram acceleration. In other words, this is capable of tracking fast flicks and operating at very high DPIs, which I think is already over the top at 30,000. The advertised weight is rated at 41 grams, but my scale says 44.5. This could be because the measurements done by Kysona was done without skates. I like that they were able to reach this weight without adding in holes to the mouse. In the latter parts of this video, I will go over grip, sensor performance, and build in more detail. But before we proceed, hi, I am Daniel with the Biboyharanero team, and we've been reviewing audio gear, keyboards, and mice for 6 years now. Consider subscribing as it helps out the channel a lot and it keeps you informed of new videos and product releases. The mouse is small-ish, but yeah, relatively smaller than other mice. Max length is at 118 mils, width is at 56 mils, and the maximum height is at 37 mils. I am a small-handed gamer, and even with my short fingers, I can use the mouse really comfortably with an adaptation period of about 30 minutes. This has a tri-mode connectivity, so it connects via Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or wired mode. Then the battery within is rated only at 300 milliamp hours, which is understandable because they had to keep the weight down. This has onboard memory, so any settings you save on the mouse is stored in it, and macros and keybinds will work even with the software off. Let's go over the software. So I have here the software of the Kysona Mercury Ultra. In the first main tab right here, you get the profiles that you could switch, and you have the key binding settings right there. Now, button number 6 is the DPI button underneath. However, I am trying to look for an option where we could change that into something like a profile switch so that I could change profiles with just a press of a button, but it seems like there isn't a profile button right here. Anyways, moving on, this is the DPI settings right here. I have my report rate at 1000 Hz, but you could definitely set at 8000 Hz depending on what you need. You have LOD heights right there from 0.7 to 2 mils. Sensor setting, I have it at high. I have all of these smoothing options turned off. And lastly, I think it's worth mentioning that this has 6 DPI stages, but I keep mine at 1200. Again, I don't use the DPI button underneath. Then I tried recording a macro a while ago. It doesn't detect your mouse clicks. However, you can insert mouse clicks right here. Middle button, insert that. You could even insert your forward button. There you go. Save. In the last tab right here, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is where you will be updating your mouse firmware and the dongle's firmware as well. You have sleep settings right there and a lot more settings right here. Inside the box, you get the mouse along with the receiver, USB-C paracord cable, grip tapes, glass feet, and its documentation. The paracord cable this comes with is a USB 3 cable, and I know because I see blue markers on the tips. It is also chunky and thick to accommodate the 8K polling rate, but cable dragging is very much expected on this cable, so there is a trade-off. It would probably be best for you to charge your mouse before a marathon long gaming session. The grip tapes are a good addition to the package, however, the feel of the grip tapes isn't as sticky as rubber, but it works. The receiver is chunky and bigger than the regular USB dongle. This is so it could accommodate the 8K polling rate over wireless. The addition of glass feet adds a lot of value to the overall package, making it really highly recommendable, especially for beginners who want to explore on mouse feet build. But do note that my tests will be done with the PTFE feet installed. I also will not be using the grip tapes included as I don't think grip tapes are necessary. Anyways, the stock PTFE feet do not feel scratchy as the edges are angled in a way for it to be smoother in terms of glide. The glass skates have more rounded edges, and I think these would be smoother on a cloth pad. The only issue with me is that I am used to a glass pad and PTFE combined, so I think transitioning to glass feet will put my aim off, so I stuck with the default skates. The coating of the mouse is said to have an ice texture to it, which is really very smooth. I think the best way to describe it is like as if there's a thin layer of rubber around the mouse, which already makes the shell kinda grippy, especially when your hands are sweaty. Looking underneath the mouse, you get the DPI button, connectivity switch, and the USB dongle compartment. However, there is no USB dongle on this unit as those are for the other variants of the Mercury.
Speaking of other variants, they're offered with a charging dock, which I think is really cool. To be more specific, this is the one with the 3311 sensor.
Moving on to customizable buttons, you have the standard buttons without any other extras. Of course, aside from the DPI button underneath, which I wish was remappable to something like a profile switch. In this case, it would allow me to be able to switch profiles depending on what games I play. The scroll wheel has very good tactility to it and feedback every scroll up or down. It also has rubber coating to it, and that was expected for better grip. All buttons, including the side buttons, have very little pre-travel, which is a good pro of this mouse in terms of build. Right and left mouse buttons do not wobble a lot, and overall feel of the mouse is very premium. Shout out to Kysona for this very good quality mouse build. Here's a sound test. I am a hybrid claw and palm gripper depending on how sweaty a game is. I tend to go claw when I need fast movements and more precise micro movements. I found that the Kysona Mercury is very comfortable for both palm and claw gripping. By the way, the hands you're seeing in the camera are the hands of our camera crew. You wouldn't want to see my dirty hands and my very bad nails. Anyways, I really like that the weight distribution of the mouse is even in the front and back. This to me is important because an uneven weight distribution sometimes puts my micro movements off. As for the side buttons, regardless of the medium-ish sized shell, it wasn't difficult for my small hands to reach the side buttons. I'd say the positioning is perfect. It's not too forward and also not too backwards. The clickers have very slight grooves to them, which isn't very obvious, and it goes deeper towards the tip. As for the sides, it also has grooves, but not too aggressive. Then it is also tapered, so the lower part of the mouse is thinner than the upper part, helping with lifting the mouse up. Very good overall shape for grip, and I personally think that no grip tapes is needed for this unit. But of course, you may add one if you need it. Now on to sensor performance, this is where I feel like the mouse performed as I expected. I have tested a lot of mice with very good sensors already in the past, and I no longer get shocked or hyped by new mouse performance. So instead of me focusing on the new features or upgraded features from what I'm already using, I watch out for any faults. And so far, I did not see any on this mouse, to be honest. It never spun out on me. I didn't feel any inconsistencies with the sensor like jitters or so. Response is on point, there was no delays, and the macros also performed as I designed them to. Micro movements were very accurate. Even the very slight jitters that I do with my hand is read by the sensor. Overall, the Kysona Mercury Ultra is very easy to recommend to all hand shapes and grip types. There's so much value included in the box, and the only nitpick I have on the mouse is its cable. What you could do is get yourself an aftermarket paracord flex cable, but this will limit your mouse to only 1000 Hz polling rate. So again, if you're going to get this mouse, I suggest you prepare by charging it before your gaming sessions, and you should be alright. I will leave my affiliate links down in the description below, and I would greatly appreciate if you could purchase this from those links, as I earn a little bit of commission, and one purchase gets me a cup of coffee. Go get me some more caffeine so I could spike my blood pressure and blood sugar again, and produce more videos like this for you. Bye bye.